In the cutthroat world of professional basketball, rivalries burn, and competition knows no mercy. Careers are destroyed in seconds out of jealousy and envy, but sometimes the most unexpected alliances emerge. One such connection recently shocked the basketball world. Sophie Cunningham. She proved her loyalty for Caitlin Clark and emerged as the biggest WNBA rival and a threat to Clark haters.
Finally, someone who gets it. Finally! Someone in the WNBA.
It is the story of one fearless warrior who risked her entire career to become the shield between the league's biggest star and its biggest bullies. A person who dared to stand up, speak up, show up when others choose to stay silent.
But because she accepted the role as the enforcer, because she accepted the role as the protector of Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham has become a star.
When Caitlin Clark stepped into the world of Women's National Basketball Association, she didn't just bring her record-breaking three-point shooting, court vision, unmatched passion, and will. With her came a spotlight so bright, so luminous that it stunned millions of eyes. With the light came both the admiration and unexpected hostility. The rookie found herself facing something no amount of learning or preparation could have readied her for. She had to face a league divided.
Fans are complaining about the spotlight Clark is stealing, claiming it overshadows more experienced players. But let's be honest, this is pure jealousy.
She had to face veterans who felt overshadowed, jealous, and envious. Players who questioned why this young woman is achieving so much so easily they'd been trying to achieve for years long. The narrative quickly shifted from celebrating a generational talent to scrutinizing her every move. From actual on-court deadly bone-crashing fouls to off-court bullying and harassment, she faced everything.
When we say, yo, she's clearly being targeted. She's the most flagrantly fouled player in the league. She gets hacked and grabbed all over the floor, knocked to the floor when the ball's not even in play.
She was all alone amidst the storm. She had no one, literally no one, to turn to. Caitlin Clark stood completely alone. But amidst this storm, a surprising figure stepped into the scene. It was Sophie Cunningham. Sophie became Clark's biggest supporter, her defender and enforcer. From speaking up publicly and calling out mistreatment to defending her physically in the court and knocking the shit out of her bullies, Sophie did it all. Sophie became the voice of Caitlin. She risked her own reputation to save basketball's brightest star from being destroyed.
About time somebody said enough is enough. You cheap shot, Caitlin. We will get you.
But why? What made Sophie risk everything when staying silent was way too safe? How did it all begin, and what made Sophie do all that? Stay tuned because this video has got all the answers you are looking for. Smash that like button and type CC's only ally in the comments if you believe Sophie Cunningham truly is Caitlin Clark's only real friend in the WNBA. And now, without further ado, let's just dive into it.
That has happened to your organization is because of number 22 from Iowa.
When Clark stepped into WNBA, she gained instant popularity. The Indiana Fever, a team that was almost invisible before Caitlin Clark. She single-handedly gave the team millions of fans and thousands of moments to cherish.
She's the reason that people are even watching all of this. She's the reason for all of this stuff. And she is blatantly, clearly being targeted.
Seeing her popularity, many haters and critics emerged from the sidelines, criticizing and attempting to intimidate her. They made proper schemes to pull her down. The doubters, the haters criticized her. Many said she was overrated. There were coordinated efforts to break her down and end her dominance. 60% of the league's flagrant fouls were against this single player. Shocking, right?
I've been one saying that I definitely believe her civil rights has been broken. She has been simply assaulted damn near every time she's been on the court. There has been a clear agenda.
Angel Reese tried to bully Clark with a vicious head contact, while Marina Maybray delivered aggressive bumps and blindsided her with cheap shots. Dejonai Carrington nearly blinded her with an eye poke that left her with a black eye during the playoffs. Diamond DeShields barreled into Clark with a reckless shove, making the crowd hold their breath. Kennedy Carter's shoulder check was more than just a foul. It was an attempt to rattle the rookie.
It was never about basketball, ladies and gentlemen. It was always pure jealousy.
This wasn't basketball. This was systematic targeting, a calculated effort to use her as target practice with the league's full blessing. She was facing all this, but what did WNBA do? Nothing. Literally nothing at all. The league continued to gain financial benefits from Clark's unprecedented popularity, but its leadership maintained a defending silence.
Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Miss Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache.
No one took any notice, neither regarding her on-court mismanagement nor against her off-court bullying. The league's failure to intervene and enforce its own rules created a workplace safety crisis that went beyond the sport. Referees were turning a blind eye when the league's biggest star was in danger. The officials maintained their silence over the matter as if nothing was happening.
I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually it's just too much. Too much.
It was a moment when Sophie said enough. Sophie Cunningham was Phoenix Mercury guard and a sharpshooting legend. But what nobody knew was that Sophie had something more powerful than her deadly three-point shot.
Sophie Cunningham is one of the best shooters in the WNBA.
She had an unbreakable moral compass and the guts to use it when it mattered the most.
I mean, she has changed our game in the best possible way in every way. And so just to be alongside of her and maybe relieve the pressure, being able to shoot and spread the court for her to go do her thing.
While coward players whispered behind closed doors, burning in their jealousy, while others made pathetic excuses for the targeting, Sophie Cunningham was watching. She was studying the systematic destruction of Caitlin Clark, and she was preparing to become the most dangerous enemy her bullies would ever face.
For just haters in general, and I'm here to tell you, Sophie Cunningham is not finna put up with the hate and the bullying Caitlin Clark has been receiving.
The first sign came during a post-game interview, or rather, a particularly physical game between the Mercury and the Indiana Fever. The reporters were looking for controversy, hoping to catch Sophie in a moment of jealousy or resentment toward the rookie phenomenon.
I think the physicality and all that they're going to get used to, but I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it. And I'm a huge fan, and I never say that, but I think it's fun what she's doing.
Sophie, what do you think about all the attention Caitlin Clark is receiving? Do you feel it's taking away from established players like yourself? Sophie's response was unwavering. Let me be crystal clear about something. Caitlin Clark is exactly what this league needs. She's talented, she's exciting, and she's bringing eyes to our sport that we've been fighting to get for decades. Anyone who has a problem with that needs to check their priorities. And boom! This was just the beginning. This was the start of a new chapter of the most unexpected friendship.
I'm like, what? I'm like, this is just the beginning. I was like, you're kidding.
This was just the beginning of something that culminated into an explosive podcast that shook the league to its core.
Y'all are getting exposed for the nasty work y'all was doing.
Sophie Cunningham was criticizing those who refused to acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA.
In the podcast, Sophie destroyed every single person speaking against Caitlin Clark with absolutely zero filter. She drew a line in the sand. She declared herself an ally to Clark. Sophie's podcast revelations didn't just defend Clark. They exposed the systematic campaign against her.
Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're going to prove her, we're going to show her what the W really is.
She openly shared the locker room conversations she had witnessed with her former team, the Phoenix Mercury. I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're going to prove her. We're going to show her what the W really is.
Talking about basketball, they're talking about prison ball. We gonna grab her, we gonna throw her to the floor, we gonna, yeah.
And that's not it. Sophie didn't stop there. She explained that the conversations weren't about basketball, but about physically assaulting her. She said, grabbing her and throwing her to the floor.
Sophie Cunningham is publicly blasting jealous WNBA players.
This coordinated effort, driven by jealousy and a failure to handle Clark's success, was something Cunningham found deeply disturbing. So she delivered the knockout punch.
I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually it's just too much. Too much. And like, it's just, I'm over. And if I'm saying it's too much, then it's probably.
And remember, this is coming from someone who literally fought someone on the court. When Sophie Cunningham says it's too much, you know it's absolutely insane. This coming from a player who had famously been in a physical play herself made her words hit even harder. When Sophie Cunningham says it's too much, you know it's absolutely insane.
By the way, sometimes I've just got to say it. Sometimes I feel like she's the only player in the entire league that actually and truly has Caitlin Clark's back.
The most brutal part came when Sophie destroyed anyone questioning Clark's status as the face of the league. She said, "It literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league."
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Boom! In one statement, she literally destroys the Sabrina Ionescu comparison that the media desperately tries to push. And she doesn't stop there. She added, when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit. You're literally dumb as shit.
No nonsense. Bravo. Bravo with the you're dumb as shit. You're dumb as F.
No filter at all. Just pure, raw truth. Can you see there's no jealousy at all? She literally is a sweetheart and the true champion of Clark. She literally calls out every single person who's been living in denial about Caitlin Clark's impact. She said what everyone better knows now.
She signs with the Indiana Feline. She becomes friends with Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham. She becomes the enforcer on and off the court.
Sophie's support for Caitlin Clark wasn't just limited to words. In fact, she always stood behind Clark, protecting her on the court. When the games got physical, Sophie was there. When hard fouls crossed the line and the referees seemed unbothered, Sophie stepped between Clark and her aggressors. Game after game, Sophie Cunningham became Clark's unexpected shield. Not because she was asked to, not because it was expected, but because it was right. Remember that viral fight against Connecticut Sun?
I mean, my goodness, why? Just why? Why do her like that? Why do her like that, bro?
In the game, Clark got injured after dishing a pass to Kelsey Mitchell. Clark walked out of the game with tears in her eyes. And you know what Sophie did? She grabbed Kelsey by her neck and brought her to the ground. She was ejected defending Caitlin Clark.
Look at her. She want all the smoke. Sophie Cunningham want all the smoke.
And in the podcast, she revealed the true story behind it. I was hungry and tired, and I was over people's shit. Last second intrusive thoughts, I was like, fuck it. So in the game, she not just protected Caitlin Clark, also sent a clear message to the entire league. If you want to get to Caitlin Clark, you have to come through ME first.
14 games in. And so, like, that game, I was kind of hungry. I know I was a little tired. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. I was hungry and tired, and I was over people's shit.
And seeing all this, the founder of WOW, Women of Wrestling, couldn't hold back.
We would love to have Sophie in WOW. That is wild. It really is wild.
He said, and I would love to have Sophie Cunningham in WOW because she takes down the competition. She makes sure that Caitlin Clark is safe on the basketball floor. We would love to have Sophie in WOW. This is just amazing. Even he saw Sophie as Clark's biggest enforcer and defender.
We were talking about like our first week, what people had to say. Well, the WNBA fined me.
No!
They fined me $1,500.
Sophie Cunningham's loyalty to Caitlin Clark came with a hefty price tag. Sophie watched questionable officiating against the league's biggest superstar. Game after game, Clark faced blatant fouls. And the most annoying thing was that these fouls went uncalled.
One of the biggest epidemics in the history of sports right now is going on with the WNBA and their referees. They suck.
Clark was frustrated. Even fans were pissed off about all this. The matter always went unaddressed, and Clark kept on facing physical assault in the game. Sophie was seeing all this. Sophie could no longer stay silent, and the breaking point came when she ended up making a TikTok, where she called referees stupid, slow, and useless for their poor officiating. And this TikTok resonated with millions of fans who had witnessed the same injustices. It became a voice for everyone who felt Clark was being unfairly targeted on the court.
Views on this. I mean, that worked.
And for standing up for Clark, for speaking up against the bad officiating what WNBA did, fined Sophie. Yes, a $400 fine for public criticism of officiating. But that fine didn't stop Sophie. Her unbreakable support for Clark and her moral compass was way too big than these $400. She didn't stop there.
Where Cunningham fully embraced her enforcer role for this team, that is a byproduct of the referees not having done their jobs.
She continued exposing bad officiating publicly, which in reality is a deliberate effort to sabotage Caitlin Clark. On her podcast as well, she spoke her heart out. She obliterated their entire system with facts, and for that she got another $1,500 fine. That's insane.
So, Sophie Cunningham, it happened again. The WNBA have fined her again.
Sophie's willingness to absorb financial penalties in defending Clark shows her deep connection, care, and admiration. But her sacrifice didn't go unnoticed by fans. Fans flooded her with love. Her jersey sold out overnight. Her TikTok followers exploded from 300,000 to over 1 million within hours.
Especially with more than 150,000 people agreeing with it. Anyway.
So the WNBA's attempt to silence her, to shut Clark's biggest defender, completely backfired. The league's attempt to control the narrative only amplified Sophie's message, her friendship with Clark. Sophie's message was crystal clear. You can fine me, but you can't silence the truth.
Fine her for that. Because just like fining her $500 is not going to do shit, fining her $1,500 is not going to do shit either.
In a game where nothing is above self-preservation, Sophie chose a different path. Her unwavering support for Caitlin Clark represents more than just one player defending another. It is an example of what professional sports could be when integrity overrides jealousy. While the WNBA leadership remained silent when their biggest star faced systematic targeting, Sophie entered the stage. She once said, "Clark is like my sister, like my little cousin."
She's low-key a kid. Like, she's 23 years old. Like, she's like my little cousin. You know what I mean? And so...
And time has proved that she didn't just say it, she meant it. She doesn't see Clark's success as a threat like most of the players do. Rather, she cherishes it. This is what real loyalty looks like. Let me know in the comments what you think about Clark and Sophie's friendship. And stay tuned for more such WNBA videos, inside stories, and news. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.